Hi, my name is Shilo Fuller, and this is my resource portfolio. Some of my favorite books while I was in my student teaching were the sing-along and read-along books by Dr. Jean. The Rules Wrap, Birdies, Nursery Rhyme Rally, Five Little Monkeys, Action Alphabet, Color Train, Dinosaur Boogie, May There Always Be Sunshine, I Know an Old Lady Who Swallowed Some Letters, and My Hands on My Head. There was an interactive CD with it. Dr. Jean sang. The teacher and myself would hold the book, and the children just absolutely loved these stories. One that I don't have on here is My Mother is a Baker. That was the all-time favorite of the class. Pete the Cat books by Eric Litwin. I Love My White Shoes and Rockin' in My School Shoes. These were my favorite. I love them so much I had to go out and purchase some of my own. The CD to me is a must to play with it because I can do the story no justice. The singing and the music that go along with the story just make it more entertaining for the children. This giant abacus I was very impressed with. I had never seen one so big. The children, one of the things they used it for were to count the days that they were in school, and they knew that every row was 10. So for instance, if it was 33, they'd push the 10, 20, 30, and then they would count 1, 2, 3. And since they knew that there were 10 in a row, they knew that there's 7 left. If you add the 3, that equals 10. And I was impressed with this as well. The lunch count and attendance, I really liked the way the teacher had set this up. She divided it by painter's tape, and as you'll see, she uses a lot of painter's tape. The main entree, the alternative, which at this school happened to be yogurt, and the home lunches from home. The children would place their own name under the food of their choice, and they knew that when you got to 10, you had to start a different row. And this was used to send the lunch count to the office, and also the teacher could tell who was missing by just glancing at this. And it was also a good math tool, which column has more, which has less, and as you can see, they use the tally marks too. It was something they do every morning at the beginning of the day. This math concentration game I enjoyed. The teacher would hold up the card with the ladybugs. Once again, the children knew that if there is a row of ladybugs, that equals 10, so they could start by 10 and then 11, 12, 13, and so on. The teacher would hold up the card, and the children would have to guess which square that number was. For example, when 20 ladybugs were held up, E3. And it also teaches them how to read a graph. They go from the bottom, they have to read at the bottom of the graph first, and then up the side. So if they read 3B, of course they would get corrected, and so then they would have to say B3 before they could choose which square they wanted. The center management was very effective in the classroom. Again, the teacher used painter's tape. She divided the centers by that, and under each center name was a number. So the children knew that that center could only have 2 people in it, 3 people, 4 people, and so on. It brought down a lot of confusion, and the choice and the order was not always the same. The leader always was able to go first, and then she went in alphabetical order by first name. So the kids that wanted to play in the blocks on Tuesday and weren't able to, it was possible, depending on the leader, that and the leaders were alphabetical by last name, so there was always a different order that the children got to pick their centers, and it really brought down behavior during this time and noise level, and it worked great. Lesson organization. This was placed behind the teacher at the carpet time, the circle time. And as you can see, there's numbers on each section, 1 through 12. And on the lessons, for instance, if the teacher was reading the book Life in an Ocean, which is in pocket 2, there would be a 2 beside that book on the lesson, so the teacher knew just to reach into the number 2 pocket. So it was easy reference. This CD, Nursery Rhymes in Good Old Times by Dr. Jean, was my favorite that was played in the classroom. It interested the kids. The kids would start singing the songs. I like the way Dr. Jean would sing the nursery rhyme, then they'd sing it together, and then the children were able to sing it themselves. Milk choice for the week. Again, the teacher used painter's tape here to divide the chocolate and the white. At first, the teacher used popsicle sticks, but every time during snack, she would have to pull out the popsicle sticks to make sure that the children who chose chocolate milk were getting the chocolate milk and not the white milk. She went to this because the children are able to see it themselves, and they know if they're drinking chocolate milk that they need to get chocolate milk. This is they chose at the beginning of the week what they wanted, and they had to have the same throughout the week. So it was easy for the child to go back to and say, oh, I chose chocolate milk, I need to pick chocolate milk. When I first started in the classroom, there was a lot of confusion. Kids would take white milk who were supposed to have chocolate, and then they'd have to go back to the lunchroom to get it, but this worked fabulous. I love the way this is set up. I love the rug, the shape of the rug, the shapes on the rug, the different colors, the different letters. It worked well during transition. Tell the kids, table number 1, you go find a red shape. Or table number 2, find a triangle. Table number 3, set on the letter of your name. The CD player was here, the calendar, the pumpkins up top were the children, and it was usually the line leader, was able to choose, my pumpkin has circles for eyes, and then they'd mark out every pumpkin that didn't have circles. This was in the corner away from the tables, and it worked very well in the classroom. Alphabet tracing on the iPad. This is an app that's on the iPad. This is used more in a preschool classroom. You could choose a letter, and as you can see, there's a train at the bottom. The train would follow the correct tracing of the letter, and as the child traced it and followed the train, it turned red, as in the W here. They don't just have trains, they have bugs also. The children absolutely loved it, and in the preschool classroom, most of the children could not write their name, so it was the first letter of their name was the focus. And this was something they enjoyed to do, they enjoyed doing, and they were able to have fun while they were learning how to write their first letter. The ABCs of Kindergarten. This is a booklet that the teacher sends home at the beginning of the year. And she has something for every letter of the alphabet. As you can see, A is for attendance, B is for birthdays and book clubs, C is for cupbackers, D is for Denilion, E is for email, F is for folders and family night, G is for gym class, H is for homework, I is for independence, J is for just, K is for kindness, L is for library and labeling, and M is for math. And for example, under A is for attendance, she has attendance. Your child's progress, both academically and socially, is influenced to a great extent by daily participation. Much of our work is done together in class. If your child must miss school, please call the office. And another one, for example, is J is for just enjoy this year. K is for kindness. Students in my classroom are encouraged and expected to treat others with kindness and respect. This is something that the parents can go over with their children before they get into the kindergarten classroom. Then it goes through N is for newsletter and nurse, O is for office, P is for password, Q is for questions, R is for recess and restrooms, S is for show and tell, T is for toys, U is for unusual weather, V is for visitors, W is for website, X is for exciting, Y is for you, and Z is for Z's. For example, Q is for questions. Feel free to contact me with any questions or concerns. The school number has the number listed. If I am not available, please leave a message with a number that I can reach you. You may also reach me at, and she has her email listed. And Z is for Z's. Make sure that your child gets plenty of rest. Setting and keeping a bedtime routine is a wonderful gift you can give to your child. It will help them be alert and ready to learn each day. The class newsletter is my last resource. She has printed up, and it goes out to the parents at the end of the week on Friday, and it has what they're going to go over the following week. She has what they're learning in phonics. For example, they were learning the letter M and N, and reading. And then she has the new popcorn words that the children are going to be learning. These are sight words. And she also has a list of all the popcorn words that they have learned so that the parents can work with their child at home on these words. She has what they will be doing in math and show and tell. There's a letter of the week the kids bring, and this happened to be K. They brought something that began with K. She liked for them to bring something from another, not just toys, but maybe out of science or social studies. They happen to be going over the book at pizza, and then at the very bottom is the calendar. They're important dates. For example, on here is November 2nd, 1:15 dismissal for students. It's collaborative planning for teachers. If there's any days the kids will be out, dismiss early, special things going on in school, this will be listed on the class newsletter. That is my resource portfolio. Thank you.